Off the Cuff is supported by Patreon. Join today and become an honorary producer and get in-show credit on every episode. Hi there, everybody, and welcome to Off the Cuff. Well, it's that time of year again. Yep, it's Valentine's Day. Loving couples all over the world show their love with romantic dinners, gifts, jewelry, trinkets, flowers, and of course, sweets. And well, ever since I was a little boy, I have loved those big, shiny, heart-shaped boxes of candy. Oh yeah, I always wanted one all to myself. When I got to be 13 or 14, I went down to the local drugstore and I bought one of those boxes for myself and I binged on it. Did I love it? Yes. Did I get sick? Yes. Did I do it again the next year? Yes. But you know what? I'm not totally opposed to romance either. So for today's show, I wanted to do something romantic. I thought about doing candy, but it didn't seem romantic enough. So I started to think, where would you find the most romance? France. The French are very romantic. And what's the most romantic food I can think of? Well, escargot, but I'm not doing snails. So I thought of soufflés. Yes, a chocolate souffle. I could see a couple each having a chocolate souffle on Valentine's Day and it being very romantic. So today, I'm putting my own twist on it. I'm going to make a sugar-free, guilt-free chocolate souffle. Now, I've never done it before, but I think it's gonna come out great. And what to put on it? Well, the bar is pretty high with the souffle, so I wanted to go a little easier on the topping. So I'm gonna make my version of a sugar-free chocolate whipped cream. Oh yeah, just put a dollop right on top. That is going to be delicious. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Now, speaking of fun, I was in a comedy club the other day and one of my favorite comedians, Hackey McGeggy, is in town. And guess what? His set is all about Valentine's Day. Talk about fun, yeah. So, with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the comedy stylings of Hackey McGeggy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him, you love him, but we mostly hate him. Hackey McGeggy!
Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Hackey, yeah, Hackey McGeggy. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. Hey, do you feel all that pressure? Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Valentine's Day to make sure your partner knows that you love them. Yeah, whether you mean it or not. I mean, come on, really. It's like that song. If you can't be with the one you love, lie. Come on, fellas, you with me? Yeah, you're with me. And on Valentine's Day, everything has to be perfect. Yeah, you have to have the perfect restaurant, the perfect flowers, the perfect candy. And trust me, you have to have the perfect excuse if you're going to explain why you and the guys are going to the strip club later. Yeah, come on. Hey, it's Valentine's Day for them too. Right? Come on. That's gotta work. And guys, I'm gonna save you money on flowers. Don't buy flowers from a florist on Valentine's Day. Don't. They're overpriced. The flowers at 7-Eleven are just as good. But you better take that tag off. Yeah. Or you'll spend your Valentine's Day's night in the perfect emergency room. Trust me, I've been there. Speaking of been there, I've been to school. Remember in school, we'd be making our Valentines in secret. Then we put them in that big pink box with the red hearts on them. Yeah. Then on Valentine's Day, the teacher would take all the Valentines out and pass them out. There were some kids in my class who had a stack of Valentines this high. I had one. One Valentine. It was from the teacher. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Fife. You've made today very special for me. Yeah, I still see him. We're going to the strip club later. I kid you not, really. And you know, in art class, I always made my special Valentine for my mom. It was always that big red heart that would unfold, and it would say, "Dear Mom, I love you." And it'd be spelled W-U-V. Oh, cute, right? I wasn't trying to be cute. I was dyslexic. My dad, he never remembered Valentine's Day. He could never remember February 14th, but he always remembered February 15th. Yep, because that's a day every year when he'd go to the chiropractor with a really bad back because he slept all night on his old army cot because my mom threw him out of the bedroom when he forgot Valentine's Day. And speaking of true love, my best friend in the world, he got married on Valentine's Day. Oh, yeah. That's romantic, right? Yeah. Yeah. To this day, he still refers to it as a St. Valentine's Day massacre. I've written a poem. It's called Ode to Valentine's Day. And here it is. Darling, sweetie, honey bun, oh, you know who you are. In my life of all my loves, you are the shining star. With lips like cotton and eyes that glisten. When you talk, I pretend to listen. Sweetie, you talk a lot and you tend to jabber on. And you talk the most when the ball game is on. Look, I'll take the garbage when I'm good and ready. But your mouth keeps running. Stop already. Hey, French is romantic. Ferme la bouche. That means close your mouth and sit on your tush. Oh, no. I see that look on your face. You're getting mad. Okay. I'll go sleep on the cot with my dad. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Hackey McGeggy, and I'll see you soon. Alrighty then, now it's time to make our sugar-free Valentine's sweet treats. First up, the sugar-free chocolate souffle. 2 ounces baker's chocolate, finely chopped. 1/2 cup of unsweetened almond milk. 3 eggs, each separated and at room temperature. 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar. 1/4 cup of your favorite powdered sweetener. 2 tablespoons butter, that's to grease the ramekins. 1 tablespoon granulated sweetener, that's to dust the ramekins. And now for your sugar-free chocolate whipped cream. 1 cup heavy cream. 1 teaspoon vanilla extract. 3 tablespoons of powdered sweetener. And 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Okay, so I'm actually going to make the whipped cream first, and I'll tell you why. When you make a souffle, it rises. Yeah, it gets nice, soft, and fluffy, which is terrific. However, if you don't eat it in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it will fall. So if I make them first and then make the whipped cream, they would have fallen. So we're going to do this as soon as they come out of the oven. So I think it's preferable to make the whipped cream first. Now, believe it or not, this is going to take all of about a minute if I do this correctly. First off, you take your 1 cup of heavy cream. Put it in your food processor. Yeah, you could whip it too, but this is faster. Now I want to take your vanilla, or my vanilla. This is my vanilla. Now you can use liquid stevia, or you could use powdered or granulated sugar. I'm using granulated monk fruit allulose. And then finally, your cocoa powder. Okay, now once it's all in, what we do is we do this for about a minute. You've got to be kidding me. This has only been about a minute, and I think we're done. And there, look at that. This is homemade, sugar-free chocolate, whipped cream, That's probably the fastest thing I've ever made in this kitchen. Now I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and we're going to start on our souffle. Okay, before we even start, we're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees, because as soon as we're done mixing that batter, it's going right in there to become a souffle. And what do we put the batter in? Ramekins. This is a 6-ounce ramekin. Reminds me of Star Wars. Ramekin! You were the best of us! You were the chosen one! I'm a nerd. Okay, we have some prep here. 2 ounces of baker's chocolate. This is unsweetened, so I advise you not to taste it. It's very bitter. It's only for baking. Why would I say that? Well, it so happens that I popped some in my mouth and I regretted it. So we're gonna just chop this up to be as fine as possible. Nice and fine, because what we're going to do is we're going to heat up our almond milk and we're going to stir this in and it's going to melt. Going to make another pass. Yeah, that's good. This is good now. Now we're going to put this to the side, and now we're going to separate our eggs. Okay, now when it comes to separating the eggs, a couple of rules. They should be room temperature, or as close to room temperature as you can get. Okay? And you have to make sure, I want to put the egg whites in here. There can be no yolks in here, none. And it has to be clean and not greasy, or else you're going to have trouble whipping the egg whites to soft peaks. So let's start with this egg. Okay. I tend to do this by hand, like this. That's one, and save the yolk. The yolk is part of the recipe. And crack it here. There we are. Yeah, it really helps if you don't break the yolk. That way it's easier to contain. That's good. Yolk goes in here. And for the final one, all right. Okay, we have separated our eggs. That was done. There is no yolk in there. Huh, that's no yolk. I'll tell you what I mean. There. Now we're going to take our ½ cup of almond milk and we're going to bring it to a simmer in here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to bring it down to a 4. And take our chocolate. There we go. And just stir in your baker's chocolate with the almond milk. It's already been incorporated. Now we let it wait. We let it cool. And while we do that, we're going to prepare our ramekins. All right, so now we take some butter and we're going to grease these ramekins. Make them nice and buttery and slippery. Yeah, we're going to make 3 soufflés today. Okay, that's buttered. We're going to take some of our granulated sweetener and we're just going to place it in here and put it on the ramekins. And that is just fine. You don't want to put a lot in there. All right, our ramekins have been buttered and sweetened. Now it's time for food facts. A souffle is always made from eggs and can be sweet or savory. Now, the word souffle is the past participle of the French word souffler, which means breathe, breath, blow, or inflate. To find the earliest mention of the souffle, you have to look all the way back to early 18th century France, where it was documented by French master cook Vincent Lachapelle. No. That's American stand-up comedian Dave Chappelle. I'm saying La Chapelle. Yes, yes, yes. That's the guy I was talking about. About a century later, restaurateur Antoine Bevier opened the first grand restaurant in Paris. He then wrote the cookbook L'Art de Cuisiner, yes, in 1814, and it happened to include a recipe for a souffle. The next year, in 1815, French chef Marie-Antoine Carême, known as the first celebrity chef ever, wrote his own cookbook, La Pastille Royale Parisienne. It took me about 6 weeks to learn how to pronounce that. Yeah, well, he wrote that book, and several pages were dedicated to the art of making the souffle. Not only was he a celebrity, but Carême was a serious chef. He created the souffle Rothschild. Yes, it was actually made with real gold and was named after his then employer. Yes, and that employer happened to be the richest man in France. Ooh la la. The souffle quickly evolved in 1903 when Auguste Escoffier published Le Guide Culinaire, which was basically a journal of the most popular French recipes. It included over 60 different recipes for souffles. The word souffle first appeared in English in the 1813 book by Louis Udy, the French cook. 32 years later, in 1845, Eliza Acton put in her book Modern Cookery. But by then, it was so popular, it was just seen as another recipe. In 1961, Julia Child, in her book Mastering the Art of French Cooking, referred to the souffle as the epitome of the art of French cooking. And there she is, actually making a chocolate souffle. I'm making a chocolate souffle today. No pressure, Craig. No pressure. From 1900 to the mid-20th century, souffles were commonly included on the menus of fine dining establishments. Got to use my fancy voice for this, including the Biltmore, the Waldorf, and the Astor in New York City. Yes. In the 1954 film Sabrina, Audrey Hepburn has a very memorable scene where she's trying to make a delicious souffle, but she fails because she forgets to turn on the oven. I've done that too. And despite her not being able to complete the souffle, souffles from the exposure in that movie got even more popular. Well, if you're a fan of classic TV like I am, you're all familiar with that trope where if somebody is baking a souffle, you gotta be really quiet because any loud noise or if you bang on a counter will cause it to fall. And of course, comedy ensues. Well, my favorite play on that trope comes from one of my favorite shows, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. Yeah, in the episode The Lars Affair, Phyllis Lindstrom is trying to confront Sue Ann Nivens about having an affair with her husband when, this happens.
Look at my chocolate souffle. I think what we have to talk about is more important than your chocolate souffle.
I'm sorry, but this is a very critical time.
Well, I'm sorry. This is a very critical time for me, too.
Oh, my poor baby.
And now it's time for souffle trivia. February 28th is National Chocolate Souffle Day. Hey, that's coming up. Meanwhile, May 18th is National Cheese Souffle Day. Yum. The most expensive souffle ever created was created in New York City in 2016 by chefs Richard Farnaby and Alexander Petrosian. Yeah, now the souffle included quail eggs, Royal Reserve caviar, gold leaf, and flambe Hennessy Richard. And what would it cost you? $2,500 for a souffle. A souffle is generally served very quickly after baking because it usually deflates 5 to 10 minutes after coming out of the oven. Yeah, I think we've all been there. And finally, the world's largest souffle was baked in Santa Monica, California on July 21st, 2000. It used 3,000 eggs, 60 pounds of butter, 100 pounds of cheese, and 300 pounds of potatoes. And that's Food Facts. Now it's time to take our egg yolks, and we're going to place them into the chocolate mixture we have here. Do it one at a time. Put the second one in. There we are. There goes the second one. And then you take the last of the yolks and you put it in here and you just incorporate it really well. See? There you go. Now we put this aside once again because now it's time for the hard part. Now we're going to whip our yolks. Now the first thing you're going to put in, of course, is your egg whites into your clean vessel. Then the cream of tartar. You cannot complete this without cream of tartar. And start to whip it at high speed. Now put about a third of your sugar in. Don't put all your sugar in at the same time. So we're here, put in another third of your sweetener. And now the last of the sugar goes in. Let's see. We are done. Okay. All right. I'll never be able to use my right arm again, but it's all worth it. So let's stir our chocolate egg yolk mixture. That's fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold in a little of our egg white meringue at a time, about a third. And we're not going to mix it. No. We're going to fold it. So we're going to go like this and fold it in. And fold it in. And fold it in. And fold it. And fold it. And we're going to keep doing this until it turns one uniform color, which will be brown or chocolate. There you go. See? I folded that in. Now we add some more. I'm using 1/3 at a time, I guess. I guess. That's what it says to do, so that's what I'm doing. Did we achieve stiff peaks? No. But I think it was close enough because I only have one arm to give for my recipe. We're folding it in, as you can see, folding it. This looks very appetizing, like liquid marshmallow. Well, that's pretty much what it is. And I really want to taste it, but I am resisting that temptation. This is our last bit, so we're going to fold this in now. Fold it in. Okay. It's adding nice volume, it's puffing it up. And this is what's going to make our souffles rise. It's the egg white. And it's almost done. Just a little bit more. Fold. Fold. All right. Now it's in. Now it's time to put it in the ramekins. And we're going to fill it. You'll see. I'm going to fill it. Let's see. Up to there. Not all the way to the top. Up to there. And this one. And if there's anything left over, I'll balance it all off. Okay, into the oven it goes. It's going in for 15 to 20 minutes at the 375. Okay, now we wait.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
And happy Valentine's Day. I did it. I made a chocolate souffle. I've never tried it before. I followed the instructions to the letter, and it worked. Now, I put some of the, as you saw in the picture, it was with and without whipped cream. I put the whipped cream on here and it kind of made it deflate because it's cold, but that's okay. It looks wonderful. It looks chocolatey. Oh, I'm feeling kind of romantic right now over this. I cannot wait to taste it. I just can't. All I can tell you is, this is going to sound so full of myself. Maybe it's beginner's luck, but it's not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be to make a souffle. Seriously, this came out way beyond my expectations as far as it looks. How it tastes, though, we'll find out right now. Oh, it's soft. Nice and soft. Look at that. Look. Okay. Chocolate. So good. It melts in your mouth. It's almost like eating air. Oh my. I'm going to get some of this whipped cream this time. Shut the front door. This is hitting every single note I wanted it to hit. It's decadent. It's sweet. Chocolate flavor. Oh. And you know what? If you make this for your partner, you're going to have a heck of a Valentine's Day, I guarantee you. One more, just for luck. I highly recommend this. It's really fun to do. And that's all for this time around. We're here again in another 2 weeks with another episode. And remember, until then, be well, eat good, and happy Valentine's Day.